Hello, beautiful beings. It's Zay. I hope you guys have been doing well and feeling well. I've been going through the motions, heavily reflecting on life and what I want, and working so hard to change things that are habitual and create new, healthier habits. My mindset, right? Like how I think and what I believe and like what I think that I can do. And because sometimes you got these little voices in your head that tell you you can't do those things, right? So you have to remember to ignore those voices in your head. That's just fear getting in the way. So I just wanted to come on here and talk about something that has been bothering me ever since I started my first love journey. Even years ago, I would say like 4 years ago, before I started freeforming, there is this term that some people use, and I guess the lock community. I don't really consider myself in a community. I'm just a person that is experiencing all these journeys, and I don't try to put myself in a category, if that makes any sense. There is a term that people use, some people use, not everybody uses, but the term is ugly. So there are stages of our locks, right? One of the stages is called the ugly stage, and I really don't like that term because, for one, I'm not ugly. For two, I don't think my hair is ugly, and I saw and am still seeing every part of my journey as beautiful, and I am truly embracing every aspect of it, even when it's short, even when it's frizzy, even when it looks like a mess to some people. I still go out in the world feeling confident about myself and not feeling shameful about my hair. And I really just want to touch on this topic just because I don't know how you guys see your lock journeys. I don't know if you label your hair as ugly. This is not for you, baby girl. Okay. I don't know what you guys label your hair as. I don't know what you consider your hair to be. I know there have been a lot of people that message me asking me how to get rid of frizz and how to, speed up the process. And honestly, you can't rush the journey. I know you've heard that before. Never rush your journey. And that's the same thing, either in life or fitness journey, even your hair journey. Like, you cannot rush those things. It takes time. Beauty takes time, right? And you have to be patient with yourself and your hair. So the term or the phrase ugly stage, I think that's very detrimental to not only our minds, but to the way we see ourselves, And I know some of you may be saying, well, that it's just a term, it's just a saying, it's just a part of the stage or whatever. But I honestly feel like words do hold power. Words have meaning, right? So if you go back in time, we have seen time and time again that people like us, especially women, first of all, people like us have been in situations, uncomfortable situations, where society has not accepted us because they too thought that we were ugly. They too thought that our hair was unruly. They too thought that our hair was unprofessional and all these other things. I think it's so crucial to really be mindful of the words that you use, not only towards other people, but especially towards yourself. I would never look at my hair and call it ugly. I will never say that, oh, this is the ugly stage, because think about, and again, this may not be true for all of you. Everyone has a different perspective. So, but I've met people that have actually thought that their hair was ugly and actually thought that, hey, this is a part of the stage, so this is just what I have to deal with. This is how I have to see it, and it's just what it is. And that's not what it is. You can shift your mind. You can change the way you see your hair, yourself, your journey, all of that. So I've met people though that have really tried to cover up their hair, or have put weaves over their locks, or that just tried to hide it, just try to like fake it until they made it type stuff. And even so much that people like will go above and beyond to crochet all of their hair to not go through that phase, the transitional phase. And I think that too often we as human beings, we want to always control things. We always want to manipulate stuff. And I think that's the issue, is that we can't just be. We literally just can't be. We can't let our hair just do its thing and trust it. Bob Marley literally said, trust the universe and respect your hair. And that's literally a mantra that I go by. And I think that that is a major issue when you don't like what you see in the mirror and you're very uncomfortable with your hair. You're very uncomfortable with the nappiness of it, the frizziness of it. A lot of it stems from self-hate. And I don't know what else to say about it, because some people will argue me down and tell me that it's not, and I truly think it is. I think that when you look at your hair and you don't like it, you feel so uncomfortable with your hair to the point where you have to cover it, then it just means that you're not comfortable with yourself. And I've done it before, so I know. I've looked at myself and I've said, oh, I hate my hair. Like, you really have to be intentional with the words that you use when you speak about yourself and when you speak to yourself. I don't personally like the term the ugly phase or the ugly stage, because I think that you're basically saying that you and your hair is ugly. And we have been perceived that way for so long. We have perceived ourselves that way for so long. And I think that that word needs to be changed. Maybe it won't be changed in the lock community, but I think that anyone going through a lock journey, anyone starting a lock journey, I want you to know that there is not an ugly stage. It's all in your mind. It's all about how you perceive yourself. And, just call it the sprouting, call it the, I don't know, just call it something beautiful, call it something loving, call it something positive, but never call it ugly. It's like, have we forgotten that there was once a time where, and it still kind of is like that, but it's not as intense. There was once a time where we couldn't go get a job because of our hair. We couldn't go into certain businesses because of our hair. So many things. And we had to conform. I know that there are still people out there that conform to society, and I just want to encourage you to never conform. If you are in spaces where there's not many of us, I just encourage you to be a warrior. I encourage you to be the one that stands out, the rebel soul that changes things and stays true to yourself. And so what if people discriminate against you? You know that you stay true to yourself, and you did it for not only yourself but for past generations and future generations, right? That's what you're really doing it for. You're showing other people that, hey, I'm proud of this and I'm gonna stand in this, and I don't care if it makes you feel uncomfortable. Why does it make you feel uncomfortable? That I'm just being myself, that I'm being the beautiful being that God made me. Why does that make you uncomfortable? People have asked me if I've had issues with it, and I tell them no, because I don't have issues with it. I will never allow anyone to judge me or discriminate against me because of what my hair looks like. That is minuscule. That is so little. When people can go into work with different hair colors, that's not natural. But I can't go in with my natural hair. Okay? Yeah, and I know that there are women out there that still have a very hard time accepting their hair for, for what it is, and they are slowly getting there. And I say take as much time you need, but like never allow anyone else to make you feel less than because of that. And there may be some trauma. I know there's some trauma embedded in that when it comes to our hair. And I think that is part of the reason why we're having so many issues still, is that we still don't see too many women with, their natural hair. They may show it every once in a while, but there aren't many women out here with locks, like in the spotlight at least, Whatever. You are not ugly. Don't ever call your hair ugly. That takes a toll on your mental when you label your hair as ugly. When I first started my lock journey, honestly, I did feel that way, and I started to not like my hair. There were times where I would look in the mirror and my hair would be budding and it would just, start sticking up. This is when I had comb coils. I've only kept them in for like 3 months, and then I took them out every time. I could never stay with comb coils because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like that's what my hair wanted to do. So, and it just felt like I didn't want to do it either. And so I was like, fuck it. But there were times where I would look at myself and my hair would be changing, and I was just so used to my curls. I just got used to my hair, but I was also still dyeing it and bleaching it and, essentially damaging my hair. And I would look in the mirror and I would just see, I would just see myself the way that I shouldn't. I would, I was just uncomfortable. I felt like my hair was a mess. I felt like my hair was just like all over the place. And it's because I was programmed, I was brainwashed then. And I had to change my subconscious. I had to change the way that I saw myself and the way that I loved my hair, or how I didn't love my hair, actually. I had to learn to love my hair, and I had to learn to love myself. But I remember looking up all the stages of the locks, and particularly the ugly one always stood out to me. And I always wondered why they call it the ugly stage. But when you don't know any better and you don't have a mind of your own, you let others think for you, and you start to take on the mentality or the mindset of others as well. And I did see my hair as ugly at one point, and I was always obsessing over it. I was always looking at it, taking photos of it, and just wondering what it was doing, and wondering, what is it gonna look like? What is it gonna end up being? And is it gonna be beautiful? Am I gonna be beautiful? It took me some time to get through that. It took me honestly, it took me 2.5 years to really accept the lock journey. Yeah, 2.5 years for me to accept the lock journey and to really be confident enough to go through the journey. Feel like a goddess, right? Because right now, I knew that this is what I wanted, but I just didn't know when I was gonna get there, and I didn't know how difficult the journey would be. Honestly, the journey right now is very easy, but back then it was really hard because I did have a negative self-image. I was still working on loving myself, learning to love myself. And it didn't help when you see words like ugly, because you have no idea how that plays on your subconscious. You have no idea what that does to you. And people say things like, oh, it's just a word, but it's more than a word. It's describing you, right? If you call yourself the ugly stage, if you call your hair the ugly stage, you're really describing your journey. And why would you want that a part? Why would you want that word to be connected to your journey? And I get it. Life isn't always pretty, It is very symbolic. Sometimes there are ugly moments in life, and sometimes, you feel ugly. I get that, but I think that it's crucial. It's very, very crucial to see your journey as other things rather than ugly. Rather than anything negative, really. And especially if you have a hard time, or you're having a hard time with seeing your beauty, with recognizing your beauty, and ignoring all the external things that come along with it. If you can ignore what people are saying about your hair, if you can ignore, the societal standards of beauty, trying to project things onto you, other people trying to project things onto you, like your family, a job, or whatever it is. If you can ignore all those things, then you'll be fine. And I'm sure you have found the strength within yourself to overcome all of that. And it does make the journey much easier when you know and you recognize yourself. You see yourself as a queen, a goddess, a divine being, a king. Because this is not just for women, it's for men too. Men have these issues as well. When you see yourself as that, it's much easier. But when you are having trouble with searching for that, when you are having so much trouble on your journey, when you're struggling on your journey with finding that confidence and finding that inner beauty, then anything can kind of like deter you away from that path, you know? I've had many times where I've had my family member say, oh, why don't you just straighten your hair, you know, it'd be so much longer. And there are times where I was like, you know what, damn, like, do I want to keep locks forever? And then I internalized that, and I let them get to me, and I ended up straightening my hair. So, you know, I say that we have this perception that our hair is just not enough, and that essentially we are not enough, and none of that is true. You know, I applaud anyone for starting a lock journey, whether it's freeform or comb coils, two-strand twists, or comb coils. I applaud you, you know, but it is different. It's much different when you can allow your hair to grow and to thrive naturally, without obsessing over what it looks like. I don't think it's bad to twist your hair. I don't essentially think it's, you know, a bad thing to have maintained locks, but to what extent? You know, are you constantly worried about your new growth? Are you constantly worried about your edges and how fuzzy and frizzy they are? Do you always love to have neat parts? Do you love to have your scalp showing all the time? Or can you allow your roots to just grow out, you know, and you just let it happen naturally? And then, you know, you say one day, I feel like twisting my hair. Because you have to remember that your hair has a mind of its own. Everything on you is living, right? You are a soul in a body, but you have cells inside your body that are living, right? You have organisms and all these things. Literally, your hair is alive, your skin is alive, fluid in your body is alive, everything is alive, and you can't control everything. You cannot control everything. And all you can do is control how you see yourself. That's really it. You don't want to obsess over your hair too much to the point where you start to experience breakage, or you start stressing out about it, and then you start experiencing hair loss. It's not that serious. So I say love yourself no matter what you look like. I say never allow anyone to make you feel less than, and flaunt and embrace your crown because it is beautiful. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.
You're not loving your soul when you have to sort of press it, burn it, braid it. There is a lack of acceptance of who you are at your core in your physicality when you beat your hair under constant submission.